Tyrese Maxey did his thing in game one, but we got to acknowledge Tobias Harris played a complete game as well. And they may have cracked the code. What's good, beautiful people? Now look, Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey had amazing game ones in Philadelphia versus the Toronto Raptors. But here's the more nuanced caveat of the game, of why their production was so valuable and what it means for the rest of the series. Entering this series, the Toronto Raptors were accounting for two individuals, Joel Embiid and James Harden. And you can tell by the way they approached defense in game one, they weren't necessarily anticipating Tyrese Maxey doing what he did. They didn't anticipate Tobias Harris doing what he did. So when you think about it from that perspective, now the Toronto Raptors not only have to worry about two guys who can get a bucket, but they have to worry about four guys who can get a bucket. And even if Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris don't even put up the exact same numbers they put up, Tyrese Maxey with 38 points, Tobias Harris with 26 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, a steal and a block. And, when you think about it from that perspective, even if Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey don't even put up those exact numbers, it doesn't even matter. They've already put the fear of God in Toronto. They've already put the fear of God in Nick Nurse as a head coach. Now, look, I'm going to give Nick Nurse a lot of credit. Nick Nurse is one of those coaches that makes adjustments on the fly. He's very good at that. That's Nick Nurse's specialty. But when you have to account for four guys who can get a bucket, four guys who are liable to give you 20, 25 plus, maybe 30 plus points, you have to account for it. And they don't have the manpower to be able to handle an onslaught like that. Think about how Toronto is built. They're built with a bunch of forwards. Their team is literally forwards, all forwards, barely any guards, barely any centers. They got all small forwards and power forwards, all guys that are about 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". That's their ballpark. Now they got two small guards with Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr., who are snipers who can shoot from deep. But what happens when the shot isn't falling? What can they give you? They can't give you anything on defense. We already saw that with Tyrese Maxey giving Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. the business. So who's going to guard Tyrese Maxey every night? Because Tyrese Maxey is a bucket getter. He's a hooper. And that's what makes Tyrese Maxey so special. He can score on all three levels. He's shown that. He's shooting above 43% from the three-point range. He's shooting off the dribble. He's shooting spot ups. He's getting and ones, scoring in the mid-range, has the unblockable floater. He is a willing defender as well. What can you do with Tyrese Maxey if you don't have any guards that can stop him? Fred VanVleet can't do it. What you going to do? Send us some help? And then that's going to leave somebody like James Harden open or Tobias Harris open or Joel Embiid open. See, Joel Embiid, he had a calm game. That's okay. But when you can beat this team by 20 points and Joel Embiid only put up 19 points, that tells you that, oh, yeah, the team came through. Now, like I said, Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey may not give us the exact same numbers. I don't think Tyrese Maxey is going to give us 38 every game. I don't think Tobias Harris is going to give us 26 every game. But if Tyrese can give you 25, 24, 23, if Tobias can give you 18, 19, 20, you know what I'm saying? James Harden scores a little more. Joel Embiid gives you his normal 30, 35 points. See, now we're talking. So it's like they got to pick their poison. Toronto, y'all got to pick y'all poison. And look, I expect this series to go 6 games, if I'm being honest. I want to be humble about it because I know Toronto. I know Nick Nurse. He's a schemer. But Toronto just doesn't have the manpower to be able to keep up with this amount of talent. And then on top of that, Scotty Barnes. He's dealing with an injury. He's going to be out for game 2. Gary Trent Jr. dealing with the illness, may not be in game 2. He's doubtful. So when you think about it from that perspective, the Toronto Raptors are limited. Now look, we may not get the same calls as we got in game 1 and game 2. Best believe in game 2, things are going to change a little bit. But when you think about how Toronto wins, how Toronto plays the game, they need to get out in transition. And if they don't get out in transition, they can't score. We saw it in game 1. They were scrambling in the half court, struggling to figure out where can they generate points from. They thought they can score in transition on Philly, but Philly surprised them by playing good defense in transition. Philly surprised them by out-rebounding them on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive boards. They surprised them. So now Toronto has to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, how can we put points up efficiently? How can we score? missing one of our top guys in Scotty Barnes. Who's going to guard James Harden regularly? That was Scotty Barnes' job. You see, the Toronto Raptors are limited. Who's going to guard Tyrese? Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. can't do it. Who's going to guard Tobias Harris? Okay, maybe Pascal Siakam, but Pascal Siakam's responsibility is Joel Embiid. So who's going, or OG Anunoby? Like, they're what can they do? They're limited. And Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris really just opened this series wide up and gave the Sixers a plethora of options. Gave the Toronto Raptors a plethora of issues. And I'll leave it at that, you guys. Comment below and tell me what you guys think about Game 2. Let me know. Do you guys think the Sixers are going to be able to carry over the same momentum from Game 1 into Game 2? Do you guys think Tyrese Maxey can drop another 30 ball? Do you think Tobias Harris can give you another 25, 26 plus points with playing another complete game? James Harden's 14 assists. Will James Harden surprise us to drop 30 on these guys? Joel Embiid, is he going to come in and, just put his foot in their neck? There's so many options for these Sixers, and Toronto just doesn't have enough answers, you guys. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry.